Well, Edward, run us through the schedule of events from racing finishing yesterday to today, which is about 10:30.
Yeah, well, we knew yesterday afternoon the forecast for today was going to give us a problem. We had some gusts actually after racing yesterday when we had to clear one marquee on the top of the terrace just behind me there, and we knew when we left site soon after 9 last night that the forecast would have to improve, because it was telling us there was going to gust up to or above 50 miles an hour from 6 a.m. and through till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We needed the improvement that we'd actually been given the previous 24 hours when we were able to race on Tuesday. This time the improvement didn't come, so when we came in at 5 o'clock this morning we were faced with the situation that we couldn't have people on site in an environment which would not be safe. The structural and engineer advice and the advice being given by the temporary structure people was that you can't occupy those places, and that's 20,000 people would have been in or near, a huge proportion, about 55,000 people. We also have the situation where everybody else is close to those, and any debris, and that might be a race car or a paper bag, would this time be blown onto the racecourse from the grandstand, because the wind's coming from the west. So, I mean, it actually was a very dreadfully easy decision to make, because there was no factors telling us anything other than the fact we can't race this afternoon.
Bearing in mind you'd had the trouble on Monday with all the weather, the weather forecast wasn't actually predicting this for today to be a problem, so I suppose you weren't really anticipating it.
Actually not so. We knew when we were looking at the forecast even on Sunday, we knew Monday and Wednesday were going to be the problem. Perhaps we kept that to ourselves. We did keep it to ourselves because we'd hoped it would all improve. Well, Cheltenham always somehow gets out of a hole, and it didn't this time. And that's what's happened, really, that we knew Wednesday looked a problem, but Tuesday then suddenly looked a problem, and it ceased being a problem. So we thought that would be the case for Wednesday, or hoped it would be. So what's happened today, we feared might happen, but we didn't choose to share because we hoped it would go away.
And as for Thursday and Friday, weather-wise, are we looking okay on that front?
Yeah, that's the great thing about what we've been able to do, is that the forecast is from 6 o'clock tonight. It'll start calming down. Tomorrow, no problems at all. Might be a bit wet tomorrow, dare I say it. But we've got the scope in the programme for rescheduling these races. So there was no question of having to move on to Saturday or whatever. We've got the scope. We'll do it. We'll start early. The gates will open at 10. The races start at 12:30. All the races that were previously scheduled for Channel 4 television will be on Channel 4, and that's been terrific team effort. I can't tell you, working alongside people who just want this event to be positively resolved, really. And so the people who've been inconvenienced are those poor people for whom this has been the big date in their diary. They can't come. We'll increase the capacity tomorrow, so people who would have otherwise couldn't come may be accommodated. We'll keep the gates open, and hopefully people will feel good about it after all this. We've got a 3-day festival.
We're back to a 3-day festival, we certainly are. In terms of scheduling of races tomorrow and the next day, how's it going to work?
It's going to work because at the moment work's done behind the scenes, getting all the distance agreed, because some races all races tomorrow will be on the old course, all races on Friday on the new course. That means changes of distances. That's not easy, but it'll be done, I'm sure. And then those races will be published. They're probably available as we speak now, to be honest.
Okay. So are we looking at 10 races tomorrow, and is it 9 the next day?
That's right. 10 we're including the Queen Mother Champion Chase tomorrow, and the National Hunt Chase opens the card tomorrow, and 9 including the Coral Cup on Friday. Yep.
Okay. Gosh, we're going to have 2 busy days. Back to today, though. We've talked about why racing's been abandoned today. In terms of damage that has actually been done already today, what are we looking at?
The only damage we've suffered was about 10 to 7 when the roof of one of the structures in the Tender Village kind of exploded, under wind pressure. We'll get back into the Tender Village, I hope, at about 4 o'clock this afternoon. We'll assess that and put that right, I'm sure, by the time we are open tomorrow. So, I mean, unless it gets worse, and I think, even now, it's gusting high, so long as there's no further damage, we'll be okay tomorrow. Okay.
Onwards and forwards to the next 2 days. We've had one day out the way, but how disappointing is this to miss out on today in terms of just, I suppose, the prestige of the meeting and also the financial implications?
I mean, it's desperately disappointing because this is the big thing in our lives and in the sports life. I mean, and we'd had the most dreamily fabulous build-up. We had 6 weeks. It was all going worryingly well, and I kept saying that. And then we've been faced with the only day that we couldn't have raced in the last probably 3 months we've got today. Desperately disappointing for everybody, but and for those people who have said, they've taken a day off. They're travelling. I mean, people are on their way. We had to make the decision. We couldn't make it before 8 o'clock, 8:30. We announced it because we wanted to give it every chance to be wrong. And we were aware that people were going to expense and inconvenience. And if people show up today, we'll accommodate them in the Centaur. They can bet on the away racing and hopefully make the most out of a disappointing day. So no, it's a very sad day that Cheltenham has failed to come up with the goods.